Where is it written that we do not live our dreams? Where does fantasy take us? To the strong, the sublime, the exotic, the enigmatic, the mysterious, the dark, the light, the beautiful, the dramatic, the innocent. In your fantasies, do you imagine a world of strength and heroism that you are part of? It is our life, and we can be our own heroes. Imagine fantasy come to life. Imagine creating the moments where you are more you than ever. Imagine your admired heroic armor in games, fantasy, and film made real. LightWarriorArmor is your every idea, your every imagination brought to life for theater, film, photography, and art. Fantasy comes to your life. The look, the stature, the regality of leather armor is made yours. This is David Gordon at LightWarriorArmor. I want to invite you to join me today on a demonstration of the techniques that I use to create the armor that I have been working with. Primarily, we're using leather of different weights and designs, colors, and densities. Most of it is scrap from one of the local Tandy leather stores. Also, that can be found anywhere wherever leather is featured. What I've developed here is an approach to creating fantasy armor. All my work is real equipment. It's very solid. These are leather straps, and this is a piece that is commonly used in horsemanship, and the reins and bridles and rigging that they have there. So it's very solid, very real. It moves with you very easily, and it looks good. Catches the light really nice because it's all leather and stuff. I use accent pieces. I'll pick out a color. This one's black and purple, and everything's got a purplish cast to it. What would your higher self wear? What would you have on if you actually were a warrior, a healer, or hunter, or knight? Introducing LightWarriorArmor. Now the look and feel of solid leather can be yours for costume, cosplay, SCA, and LARP functions. So this is what I'm working on. This is the stomach section for the chest piece. The chest piece comes down to the cross pieces here, and then they're threaded. This is the most primitive look I could come up with for this. You can see some of my calculations there. This is how it ties in with the there's the existing Light Warrior style shoulders, and what I need to do is put this together and tie it into that. It does have to connect. This is where I'm having a big problem with all my work, is that this chest piece will slip backwards over the shoulders that way and kind of fall down behind you. So what we need to work out here is what this will look like as it goes around. Basically, as many of you can probably see, I'm working towards the six-pack look that we see in some of the Roman chess pieces. This actually will descend down further, probably like that. And as that is to say too, that this is going to be overlapping the one here below, which overlaps that one, which overlaps this one, so on and so forth. But here's our six-pack, here's our breast, chest. From here down, this is another depiction actually of the back side of that. So pay no attention to this right now, but that's what we're kind of doing up the back of this. Alright, that said, let's move on. So, I'm David Gordon once again, and welcome to LightWarriorArmor.com. This is my home studio, and I welcome you here. We're going to be looking into some of the methods and techniques which are employed to create the armor, fantasy armor, that I am currently designing. I invite you to engage this as a hobby. It's a lot of fun. One of the important things is, these are our chief items here that make this whole thing possible. These are what are called Chicago screws, and they come in basically two forms. They come in a couple different colors. There's a gold one too. This is what I call dark. It's kind of steely gray. This one I call bright. It's chrome essentially. And then within that there are two different things primarily. This is what I call a barrel, and you can see it's essentially got a barrel shape, and as the other part screws down onto it, it only comes down that far, but it forms a solid barrel area. This one I call a brad, and it's got a hole in it. Oh, come back. Here we are. It's got a little hole in it there. I want to introduce some of the methods that keep this cutting safer, and we were introduced to the blade earlier. This is actually a piece of elephant hide, and sure enough it's gray, which brings to mind one of the things that I believe is important in all this, and that is that we do honor the animals that are involved here. This is actual elephant hide. It's gray. It has elephant pattern to the skin, you'll see, and it came from an animal, and as did all the other leather. It's from a, cow, cattle, mostly. I'm sure we'll be working with some exotics in time, but I don't feel quite right about this, but in all honesty, I at least I hope to honor the creature that gave its life so that we could have the opportunity to use these materials, I think, for a very good cause. Perhaps someday there will be a substitute, and I will welcome that. But until then, these are natural hides that we work with, and you got to make your own judgment about that. Alright, enough about that. Let's move on. Alright, let's look now to some of the methodology that I use to make this as safe as possible. We have been introduced to the triangle. It is also referred to as a square because you can create a square edge with it. What I actually want to do is square this piece of leather. Again, this is that elephant hide. And as you can see, I have a tabletop here. This is masonite. I think it's 3/8 inch. You could go with a 1/2 inch, but it gives you a real, let's zoom in on that edge there. You see it has a real edge here. See how sharp that is? And then our handy friend, this guy, runs right down that edge. Right there. See that? This bright part is the edge of this, and it goes down actually. That locks in and it slides. We can do it the other way. Needless to say, we have a 45 here and the 90-degree cut. And again, that is to this edge of the masonite along the edge of the table. Pretty much right there. Our handy guy comes in, locks right in, comes down here. This is what I'm working on. This is the chest piece and what will be essentially the abdomen, and you can see by my design that I've got these 6 bars coming over. That's a 6-pack. Below that is then the belt, and then we'll extend some thigh protectors, and then at some point get down to the knee pads eventually. But right now I want to cut these. They'll call them abs because they simulate that. This is a design that I thought was very interesting. It patterns the Roman 6-pack abs look right here. This is a crisscross tie system going down it. Trying to stay primitive, essentially Cro-Magnon. This is BC stuff. This is 300, 400, 500 BC. This is coming out of the Greek traditions. This is before the Romans. The Romans like the Greek stuff. The Greeks are the ones that started this whole abs look. Check out the film with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I think. Not Spartacus. What is that one? That's Troy. Is it? Yeah. And he's Ulysses. And he's got the whole abs set up. Alright. Let's talk about safety. And in deference to that idea, I'm not actually going to cut this. But let's look at our tools. We've got, again, our board. And this lines up a perfect 90 degree to that. We lay our leather down right along that edge. This guy jumps back in. Bam.
What would it feel like to actually wear the garments of your own hero? Utterly convincing detail, gorgeous, strongly made, and amazingly flexible and light. This is my work, David Gordon. Now you can make these pieces yourself, or have finished ones completed for you.